Have a motion. All those in favor so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. The next item on the agenda is the leasing of the floodplain property. And Mr. Buster Shepherd, Wallace Shepherd, he wants to lease the property next to his home that was taken over by the floodplain. They purchased it, and
Can I say something?
he's wanting to.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah.
They finished the bridge up there and it cost $1,300,000. And I come before the council 2 years ago and they gave me permission when they tore the house down to maintain their yard and keep the grass cut. Well, I've been doing it and it cost me $400 a year. And I've got pictures right here that I'd like to show you. The Corps of Engineers, they left. And she knows that this is the way it is now. And I
It's a mess.
would be willing to spend the money myself to pour. So that I went to the Corps of Engineers at Pineville, and they said that they was through with all the concrete work.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be glad. The one little girl, she went across that, and she fell last summer. One of the pieces of concrete on the sidewalk is pushed up 3 inches. I'll be glad to take that up and pour it myself. And then I keep the ditch lines all cleaned out. I've been doing it for 2 years at $400 a year to help another man. We cut the grass. She knows how pretty I kept that lot. And I would like to take that upper driveway out. It's all busted up. You can see the pictures where it's all take that out and bring that tile down to the city. They can use it. And then me maintain the lot. It cost me $400 a year to keep the grass cut real pretty and put nothing on the lot but just a beautiful lot. But if the city would give me permission to build a beautiful, right in the center of the lot, a waterfalls, have nothing on it but the waterfalls and let it run, and I maintain the grass, it'd be beautiful up there. If you could give me permission to do that, I'll pay for all of it.
Well, I think I told you, the city doesn't own that property.
I know it.
It's not been turned over to the city, okay? And I don't know, do we have to advertise before we can decide on leasing that or not?
No, I don't.
He's already had permission.
He's been taken care of for 2 years.
He's had it in his
And they
possession.
would, you know, the plan on
2
that
years.
was they were going to turn that property back over. I mean, not this, all of that property back over to the city, and then you could do with it, like what he's saying. I guess, you know, you can certainly have as far as the city is concerned, it'd be like a quick claim type of situation that you know, that you don't have any objection to him doing that, but really the Corps still owns that property.
Oh yeah, all I want to do is cut the grass and make it look pretty.
Okay.
It belongs to the city.
You know, you can ask the city if they would support you in doing that, but you know, it still is the Corps' property. They haven't turned it back over to the city.
I went down to Pineville and they said I could do anything that the city's council said I could do.
Well,
Okay.
there you have it.
Now, I talked with Mr. Barney Schultz. He's the Army Corps of Engineers, okay? The number is 615-736-7929. Concerning leasing of the floodplain properties. He said it would be okay to lease the vacant lot on Bridge Street to Buster Shepherd on a year-to-year basis with the restrictions of no permanent structures. That was the only restriction, okay?
So
That
would-
consider my waterfall?
I don't know about that. I don't know. if
Could
that's
you
what
move
it
the
is.
waterfall if you ever had
you
to?
can move the waterfall
Okay.
if you wanted.
I think that's what the law is, that it can't be anything that can't be
Permanent
movable, or
to the
That's what
country.
this says.
it can't be like a building
It
or.
would be an asset to our property
Yeah,
up there.
yeah.
Pretty. How pretty it would be.
It would be pretty.
Oh, yeah,
And
beat
Mr.
this
Shepherd
man.
said he would pay as much as $500 per year.
$400.
Okay.
That's what I'm paying the grass, cut the
You couldn't come
grass,
up- you couldn't
and keep
come
the
up
ditch
with
lines up cleaned out.
Okay, so pay per year, but I don't know what the property value, the tax value would be on that property as it is now, but it wouldn't be $400 a year.
Yeah.
And I don't
No,
think
I
the
don't
city
want to
should-
pay $400. It's costing me $400 to maintain it.
Okay.
Now,
That's
I
what it's
think
I'm spending $400
He's
to the city
maintaining it
to
and
cut the
keeping
grass.
it up. I just
Okay.
can't see
Oh, yeah.
charging him $400
So
to
what's
take
the
care of
price?
property.
That's what I'm getting at. How much should he be paying, or should he be paying anything?
I think you should let him run it as long as he keeps the grass cut.
Okay.
He's already been doing that.
If he's been maintaining it.
And
I agree.
he keeps it in good
That's
shape
just
too,
my
I can
opinion.
vouch for
I'm only
that.
1 of 7, but I think you should let him, as long as he keeps the grass cut, let him alone.
And I keep the ditch lines cleaned out, and that
So
upper driveway, it's all busted up. You can see the picture, I'm gonna take it out and bring that tile to the city.
Okay, do
Well-
we need a lease agreement with him, Mr. Bonds? Or
Yeah.
just-
It's not the property.
You can, you know,
How about an
it's
agreement?
a difficult thing. I'm surprised that he would say that the city could lease it to him, because you can't lease something that you don't own.
Couldn't we just
Yeah.
have like an agreement
But
until?
Well-
you can have an agreement, you can certainly pass an agreement here tonight, if that's your pleasure, allowing him for the consideration that he keeps it mowed and maintained.
Continue to maintain it because he's been
Continue
maintaining
to
it.
mow it and clean it.
Well, see, the last council, Parker, gave, there was a lot of property up in there, and the last council did give people that lived up there, as long as they took care of it, the
I
right
was on
to
council when he was
do
there.
it.
We did that.
I mean, there's several pieces of property up
Is it
there
okay if I
that way.
take that sidewalk up and
Is-
reconcrete it?
At this
Right.
point
At my
in time,
expense?
the city
That's
doesn't
the
own
only
the property.
Yeah, I
sidewalks in
know,
front
but
of
I
the
mean-
house, right?
Yeah.
They
No, it's
said,
right
you
on the
know,
side.
city said you could
Well,
use
that
it.
property's broke. The Corps of Engineers, they didn't break that sidewalk. It was already broke before they come.
Is there any other houses that use that sidewalk in that area there?
Just everybody walks up and through there, you know.
Yeah, but are there any houses over where you're talking about?
Oh, yeah, all the way around it. This house all the way around the lot, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the sidewalk's in front of the lot.
Yeah.
It's in front of the lot, and there's no house on front of the lot.
No.
But it's up to.
But do people use that sidewalk to go around the neighborhood,
Yeah.
walking?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if taking it up would be, you're talking about.
It's only about
permanent
from
doing
here
away
to
with it?
there, take that much up, because it's broke up, pooched up.
But technically, I guess then is a city sidewalk.
Yeah.
It would be because it's off the roadway.
And I took some up in front of my house. The city said I could do it up there, and I fixed it back real pretty.
Are
I'll
you
be glad
talking
to do it
about
at my
taking it up
expense.
permanently
That's
or
what we
taking it up,
need to
putting
do,
it back?
have
Huh?
an agreement between
Are
the
you
city
talking about
and him.
taking it up permanently or taking it up, putting it back?
Busting the concrete up and then re-concrete it
No.
myself.
You know,
Okay.
Yeah.
Just everybody just agree to it.
He's doing this, he's letting. the
'Cause now the
property
last
out that's
council
been
gave it to
allocated
No, I'm not questioning
To the
that.
city for the floods, you know,
Yeah.
and he's got a contract, like a little lease agreement thing. And we'll get a sample copy of that from him, because when you start, this, it is an agreement. It's not transferring the property to you, it's just
Yeah.
allowing you to use it for.
Just an agreement from the city.
Only thing
Because
I
we
want to do
don't
is cut
own
the
it.
grass.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
if the
So
council
that's-
has no objection,
He's wanting to tear up that,
I don't have any.
Oh, so-
he's wanting to tear that, driveway out that is
The
of no
upper driveway's
benefit
all
on that
busted
piece
up
of property. It
and-
makes it look bad.
but what if he gets hurt? What if someone he gets hurt, or, have we,
Probably need some sort of waiver.
we need to get that agreement signed.
Well, yeah, we wouldn't be giving him, you know,
Yeah.
We don't
Just
wanna be
agreement
responsible for
between the
anybody getting
city and
hurt
you.
while they're tearing up a sidewalk or, and if it's a city sidewalk, you'd have to take it. We can't give that away. I mean, we're gonna have to, he said he's wanting to take it up and fix a place in if it's sticking up.
well, we can't do that if
Well,
it's
when
city
you repair-
property.
I
The
know, that's what
sidewalk
I
is
said.
city
He-
property.
That's
It's
what I
when
was
you
saying, we
repair-
can't give
when
away
you
city
repair
property.
sidewalks,
Wow.
when you repair other sidewalks in town, usually it's the property owner that participates in repairing that sidewalk, but the city oversees the work.
He's not talking about doing away with it permanent though, he was just wanting to repair a
Yeah.
damaged piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then take that upper driveway out. It's all busted up there. And then put grass in there.
I would, before we did it, I'd get some sort of waiver that we're not responsible for anybody that gets hurt while he's doing that, and then give him an agreement to use the property.
When were you gonna start on the sidewalk?
Tomorrow.
On the sidewalk?
Yeah, the Corps of Engineers said they'd be back up here the 15th of March to replant grass in there, and I need to get it kind of straightened up. But they said they're not gonna do no more concrete
How
work
you
here.
gonna take it up?
Huh?
How you gonna take it up?
Me and another man, the sledgehammer. I've done it before. That's all I got to do.
Well, is the council, what's the
I don't have a
council?
problem with
I don't
the
have a problem
agreement.
with
I
it,
think
but
it's,
since it's city property, I wonder about the legalities in case it gets
Well,
hurt.
that sidewalk,
This-
what you're saying,
Well,
I'm
he
hearing
just
him say
give an
that's not city
agreement.
no,
property.
that's on the,
No, the sidewalk is.
but the driveway,
The
he's
driveway, it's on that
About
piece of
taking-
property.
doing
He's-
the
the driveway.
driveway, what he's talking about, the driveway, that
That's the
driveway
core.
is on the core's property.
Yeah, it is.
So
But
I mean,
the
I don't have a problem
sidewalk-
with him taking
I
that
don't
up
either.
either, because it looks terrible.
Yeah.
You talking about taking up the driveway, right?
That little driveway up there, it's all broke up, the
It's
picture
in
is
that
up there.
picture right there.
And the sidewalk.
Yeah, I
Just,
see.
and then that
Look at
piece of
that
tile,
picture,
bring it
Parker.
down to the city. There's a piece of tile there that I can bring down to the city and they can use it.
Oh,
It's all broke up, just to make it look good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just state an agreement between you and the city,
Yeah.
and then that way making sure that if you fall apart and get hurt, you don't sue the city.
But see,
or don't
thing-
sue
What are you gonna do about the
nobody.
ditch line?
Huh?
What'll happen to the ditch?
To the what?
To the ditch?
He's cleaning it out.
he cleans that out.
You said you bring the piece of tile down there,
Yeah,
but, I mean, will that affect the ditch in any way, that what you're gonna do?
no, no, this is this is not, that's not it.
Oh,
The one
yeah.
that's all,
He's talking about that
that's the
piece
one
of
that's busted
pipe
up.
Well,
that's
just
in
have
that old
Yeah, but it's city property.
driveway.
And
It
him.
does say about the city property.
If
A lot of people would do that.
And the ditch would be an open.
No,
pit.
no, this is.
Yeah, that cleaned up.
Yeah.
You can't let him.
Look at
This
those
is
man
when
down.
When he gets
Daniela's
that,
house
Carolyn,
has
when
been
he
burnt
gets this
down
little fountain,
10
he'll call me,
years.
so I can go up there
And
and
it's
look
just
at it.
falling.
All right, all right. No, he keeps it beautiful. He's got,
You don't mind signing a kind of a waiver, freeing the city of any penalty,
Yeah,
damage?
In agreement, yeah, you all get together.
All I want to do is keep the grass cut and make it look real pretty.
Right.
He want to cut it
Mr.
out,
Bobby,
fix
you-
that, and then it's right
Some
here.
kind of a,
We'll do away with it.
Put a picture of it on his back. We need to tell him.
He's wanting to cut this off.
No,
Take that out.
when he
and see
gets that
that old piece
done,
of tile.
you want to take a picture and put it on there.
See how that's broken
just
up?
fax us a copy and we'll get
That's a closer look at it.
so really, is there some kind of a lease that you're gonna come up with,
Will
or
it be an
what?
agreement?
Nick Brown's has got
Just,
Yeah,
And,
just
you
get
know,
together and
If the
write up one they can
county
vote
has,
and he
I mean,
agrees.
the Corps has to sign off on it, but you're
You know,
just passing
sign
an
it.
agreement that as far as you, because you will own that property sometime in the future.
yeah.
Not now, but as soon as the project's,
And I want to put a bid in it when you do own it.
There's a lot of properties
so,
that'll come up.
you're just
Yeah.
entering an agreement to allow him on a
Well, he's
year-to-year
just
basis
wanting his
to use it.
property.
You're lucky to have somebody that wants to take care of them anyway.
Well, actually, he already had that from last council. He's just
When I was on
Yeah.
council.
enforcing it, I
before,
guess,
he-
reinforcing it, because he already had permission to do it.
So you're authorizing the mayor to enter into that.
Does
sort
it,
of agreement.
does anybody object to it?
No, I make the
Okay.
motion,
There's a motion.
we let him to enter into the agreement with the mayor to, maintain the property free of charge, and, as long as he signs a waiver, that we're not responsible if he
And he
gets hurt.
cuts the
or-
grass.
Huh?
And he cuts.
Oh, he
the
cuts the
grass.
grass, trust me.
Grass.
Oh,
He put,
And keep the
sometimes he
ditch cleaned
shames
out and
us.
Treat the sidewalk.
and no permanent
Does he make
structure.
you feel guilty?
No permanent structure. Nothing on the lot at all.
And
You
that'd
don't
be
want
all right
waterfalls,
with
we'll
your-
Put it on there.
Well, as long as
Yeah.
you can move it.
Now, I put a portable waterfall on it, it'd be real pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it sure would.
So you got a motion.
Yeah, I made a motion.
And the second.
Benny
Mr.
second.
Graham.
When it's written up, you all
Well, when-
both agree and
When
sign
you,
it.
fix that up,
You
you
know.
probably ought to fix some more up, because there's some more properties around, then I'm sure.
Somebody would
The
be
cities.
as
Take 'em as they come.
generous as
Take 'em as they come.
nobody
I
would
mean,
be as
because
generous.
there are
as
some
well.
that, you know, split up like that.
Property, and it makes it easier
Matter of fact,
for
I've
them
got
to-
one of them.
People been doing it for years anyway, because we have back alleyways that people have been maintaining for the city for years. They just sort of include
Yeah.
it into their property, and if we ever need to go through there, they
That one
let
behind the
us.
house, I had to go back there.
Yeah.
We'll get the fax copy.
The boys did.
Go over it.
Okay, can you start on it tomorrow?
So, then you have a motion and a second.
I wish that was
What's-
Got a motion in a second.
What, tell me what
Yeah.
the motion, and I'll motion it.
Charles made a
Charles
motion,
motion, I'll
Benny
second it then.
Benny
Yeah, I made a
seconded.
Well, okay, we'll just vote on it then.
Okay.
So everybody in favor?
Everybody's in favor.
Indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All in favor? Motion carried, so
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'd say you could do that.
Thank you, sir.
But now I wouldn't touch those sidewalks up there yet.
Okay,
What's the,
Just the
Mr.
driveway.
Shepherd, what's that address called?
1202 Bridge Street.
1202. Thank you.
Okay, that's, the next item on the agenda, that's all of it for that stuff, is, mayor's comments. And, like to explain our Speedy Rewards, that we just started taking the earned points from our purchases of gas. It is a significant amount of points, and we've just changed the procedure so that when we redeem points, it will be used for city purposes. Right now, since we changed it, we haven't made any redemptions, but we have, in the last sheet that I've got, the last thing, we had 3,763 points from water, sewage, and 3,385 points from maintenance. Now, I really don't know what the redemption, how we can redeem them, except for maybe having some kind of a luncheons for the employees, if it's that much, or buy a tank of gas for the city.
Well, you can't even do it for the employees, because that's taxpayers' money.
According to
You
the
can't-
League
you
of
can't
Cities,
do
you
that.
have to, in order for that to be legal,
That's just
you
points
have to
lost.
give every citizen in Cumberland that same identical card, and
Yeah.
only they can use it.
Well, we could buy gas with it then, couldn't we?
That's the only thing, yeah.
Gas.
And
Oil.
They give
it
you,
needs to be documented which vehicle it goes in.
Well, we do get these, we do.
but you do know that prints out a voucher automatically when you scan your card. Unless you're keeping track of your account number, you won't know that voucher's been spent.
Yeah, well, you can call 1-800-543-1948 and get a complete accountability of what's on the card, what's been used, and what's been redeemed.
No,
I
you
believe
can't.
I would do
You have
that.
to have the
I
PIN
just
number and
went and did it the other
password,
day and got it. Well, I got the PIN number and password. Each one.
but the
of them got-
public does.
Well, I couldn't give it to the public,
It's
but
still
anybody
tax
would want to
dollars.
know how much it is.
Well, see, that's what he's saying, is any of those points that's spent cannot be used on private, on an individual who works
But
for
we're
a
not
city.
using them. They're not
Yeah,
using-
that's
none
what
of
I'm saying. If any of them have been spent, it should not have been.
None of them have been. Well,
Yeah.
And it has to be in the city's name.
Stanley.
All you gotta do is go up there, we got the little cards, speed rewards, or speedway cards. All you gotta do is go up there and get in that computer and put a PIN number
Right,
that
okay.
only you know,
Yeah,
and then you're covered.
okay.
Nobody can use it but you.
Okay, but,
That's
okay,
the point.
that's for the
That's
city
for the
now.
citizen.
That's only, it's for the city.
Right.
We haven't used it for any individual, not since we started for the city, which was just in February, was last month.
Is it in the city's name or your name?
It's in the city's name.
Now, when we
Copy
run
says,
it
"Hello,
through,
Carl."
it says, welcome call.
Well, it's gotta
Yeah.
put something in it, but.
I'm just saying though.
But I guarantee you, I won't
But
take
you need
one dime out of it, and I'll have that change, put City of Cumberland, so.
What happened to the points before
I
February?
don't know, to just be honest.
Well, see, that's what we want to know, because
Before the change?
Before
Mr.
then.
Stanley, can you tell us, who was redeeming the points before then?
What points?
if,
The
you know,
points-
like cup of coffee or something.
No, all we did was took the fleet card up there and got gas
Okay, with the fleet card.
with the fleet card.
Yeah.
And then you said you wanted to get the points, so you got a speedway card, and that's what we do. I
Yeah.
run the speedway card, they hand it to them, then the fleet card, and get a receipt for the speedway, and the fleet receipt, staple them together, and bring it to City Hall.
Okay, so, but right now, the city will benefit from any points that's earned by purchasing the gas. No citizen or individual will be getting anything out of this.
And all cards should be in the city of Cumberland's name.
All cards, I think all cards are, aren't all cards in the city of Cumberland's name?
The last one you used says, "Hello, Carl."
That's what
No,
Stanley was saying. It
that-
says, "Hello, Carl."
That's still one of the city fleet card, no, I guess that is.
This
yeah.
is a speedy
Yeah.
card. This is the
Yeah.
one I got from Open Records from
Yeah.
City Hall. It's got the numbers
Did
on
you
it.
get, who used any points out of it?
That's when you can't access it without the PIN number or
Well,
password.
okay, I've got the PIN number and password. Was any points redeemed is what I'm asking you.
I can't tell you because I don't have the password and PIN number.
Well,
That's what
all
I
you'd
was
have to do
asking
is get a
for, an accurate
printout
account
and
of
show it.
Okay,
A printout would show it if it was or wasn't.
okay, and there's no way you can get that printout then, unless you go up there with me
Only you
tomorrow?
can since you
You wanna
started
go with me
the card.
tomorrow?
No, you can get a copy of it and give it to me, I'll take
Oh,
that.
okay, you'll accept that?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I need to clarify something. So what you're saying is that before this new change, that no points were earned
I can't
or
tell you.
redeemed?
I don't know.
Well, they were earned, but
Yeah,
then
they
he
were
didn't know
earned,
about
see.
redeemed. They're always earned.
Well, I mean, what
Redeemed too,
happened
I'd
to 'em
say.
though?
That's what we want to know.
Because I know the police department was redeeming some, and I say maintenance was redeeming some.
Well, see, they shouldn't have been because they're taking money out of citizens' pocket that way.
1,494 points were on this
What
particular.
card was that? Police department?
No, this was maintenance.
No, okay, what about the police department?
I don't have a copy, nobody gave me a copy of the police
Oh,
department.
okay.
Can we get a, I
How many-
guess
how
if you
many
can
of
go
those-
in,
How many points did you say were on the maintenance?
And it showed 1,494.
What day is that?
The 18th,
Of what month?
January.
Oh, it's a lot more than that now.
Yeah, it's 3,763 now. So nobody's redeeming the points yet.
Well, didn't you say you got a new card?
Uh,
Or did you still got these cards out?
These are the cards, I went up there and got them, there's two cards. One has got maintenance, one is, for the police department, and fire department, and they're not using theirs, or my,
We had 5 cards before, didn't we?
well, yeah.
No,
No,
this is
there's,
the Speedy.
you can
The
get
Speedy
duplicates
cards.
of the same one.
You
Yeah,
can only
okay.
put 3 fleet cards on any one of these rewards here, okay? That's the way it works. I'd be glad to give you these numbers here so you all can follow this on a day-to-day basis.
I'm
It's
not
just like
going to
giving
follow
us-
that.
I don't want the, I don't want the PIN number.
Just like anything else,
I wouldn't
in
have it.
Salt City Hall, it's open to the public, and anytime anybody wants to use it, I'll make sure.
Is there any way possible that by using, if you went and entered the PIN number and stuff, that you could go back before the new procedure and the points? Can you go back and get a printout
Yeah,
of
they'll
when?
show you.
Okay.
Because
Because I'd like to know if it was used or not. I'd like to,
I tried to get it when I went up there and checked to see what was in there now, and I couldn't get that. And I had the PIN number. But all I could get was from the time that we changed these cards at this time. And it wouldn't go back no further than that.
Sounds good.
We've got new service stations in town. Have you approached them about, are we on council's comments or?
no, on the mayor's
I
comment.
guess,
No,
I'm
we
sorry.
don't wait.
You want me to wait or you want me to go ahead and say something?
Just wait. Let's go out
Okay.
and do this. Yeah, I did want to bring this up. This paper here, the Harlan Daily Enterprise, is fine paper, and they'll print exactly what they're given to print. And I appreciate the Harlan Daily Enterprise. It's a good paper, and they'll print anything from a reputable person that comes down there, like an elected official. They'll print whatever he puts in the paper or ask them to print. Now, this thing here, I'd like to say that being the mayor of Cumberland is an honor and a privilege. And I'm proud to have been elected by the citizens of Cumberland to serve as the mayor. Now, I've tried my very best to follow the laws which are in place to guide the mayor. And when there are no guidelines, I went to the council for their input. I will continue to try to be as good of a mayor as possible. If at any time, any reason, I believe I cannot make a positive contribution or cannot do the job as mayor, I will resign. In this paper, Hatfield is asked to step down. No one asked me to step down. As of this day, no one has asked me to step down.
Didn't play your November and
I want to
December meeting.
inform you that everything stated in this article is incorrect, even the headline. I have not been asked to step down by anyone. Everything in this article is an outright lie, completely false, and is degrading not only to me, but to you as a city council, and to the citizens of Cumberland as well. I have good faith in the Harlan Daily Enterprise that printed this article, that was given to them by someone supposedly serving in a position of public trust. They were deceived. It appears as if only one council member is responsible for publishing this story. One council member does not have the authority to speak for the entire council in a public forum, such as the Harlan Daily Enterprise. We all know that according to the law, it takes a unanimous vote of the council to remove a sitting mayor. Now, last year, I submitted a proposal to the State General Assembly that this law should be changed to allow a quorum plus one vote of the council to remove a mayor. In this instance, it would require 5 votes to remove a mayor if the law was passed. I believe that it is important that we resolve this issue immediately in order that the city can function properly and again regain credibility with the state government. If the council as a body so desires, a motion could be made to remove me from office. If a second to the motion is made, a roll call vote will be taken. And if you follow procedure and want me to leave, that's all you have to do. But I feel that the person that entered this, went to the public with all these lies, he should answer, he should be penalized for abusing his authority as a councilman.
Do you open that up for discussion?
No.
Okay.
You'll have a time to talk, I think, okay? We have council comment. Now, during the December the 13th council meeting, the visitors and council members were informed that a police officer was not legally entitled to compensatory time in lieu of wages. This is incorrect. Police officers are considered to be non-exempt employees and may choose to receive compensatory overtime providing they voluntarily submit a written request to do so. No city employee has ever submitted a request to accept compensatory time in lieu of wages. Also, during the December the 13th council meeting, some of the council members were confused concerning the reason for payments given to police officers about 4 years ago to correct underpayment of wages. The amount of $13,882 was paid to police officers because their time sheets were not completed properly. Although most of the officers stated that they were not entitled to more pay, it was insisted that they take the money since the timesheets were not acceptable. The agent that did the audit used the dispatch log to come up with the number of hours due to be paid to the officers. The adjustment in pay had nothing to do with compensatory time as stated during the prior council meeting. Now, and as a result of a memo which I sent to all employees during December 1, I was accused of taking away employees' vacation time. Now, here's the memo that I sent to the employees. As a result of numerous notices of violation having been issued by the EPA, Department of Water, Department of Labor, and OSHA, employees are asked to postpone requests for vacation time until further notice. It is necessary that all employees be available until the city can remedy the violations and respond to the departments which have cited us. Any request for vacation time will be considered, but if the absence of the individual would interfere with the operation of the city, the request will not be approved. Now, I have no way taking away anyone's vacation time and resent the method used in implying that I did. And then one other item here is our alcoholic beverage tax. As you know, we're charging 1% for the alcoholic beverage tax. The ordinance which assesses the beverage tax clearly and specifically states the amount that we charge will be 3%. There's 3 ordinances in the ordinance book that reads 3%. but we're charging 1%. Now, we're gonna have to do something about that. We either continue to charge 1% or follow the ordinance. The law states 3%. We charge the restaurant tax 3%, the room tax, the motel tax 3%. But yet, if you buy a hamburger, you pay 3%, 3 cents tax. If you go rent a room, you pay 3% tax. But if you buy a beer, you pay 1 cent, 1% tax. And the ordinance clearly states 3%. We need to get that clear, so we either charge 1% or 3%. And we've charged 3%, I think, from day one. I mean, we charge 1% from day one, although the ordinance reads it should be 3%. That's for the alcoholic beverage tax. Is there any suggestions in that area?
I think we should be following the law, which is the ordinance, and then if the 3%, I mean, if it's the law, they should be paying 3%, and if no one likes the 3%, then do whatever it takes to change that. But in the meantime, follow the law.
You can't raise the taxes unless you've got proof and documentation that you need to raise those taxes. Isn't that right, Wayne?
The taxes already been raised according to the ordinance.
I know what that ordinance said, I mean, I'm just guessing.
The
Why are we not using
is
the,
that you have an ordinance, you have the old ordinance from years back said 3%. But for some reason, prior to this administration, prior to the other administration, but for some reason for a long time, that's not reflected, it's not reflected in the ordinance book, only 1% has been collected.
Don't you have to prove that you spend so much time on alcoholic and drunks and stuff?
What you can do, what you can consider doing is just revisit the tax and just pass another ordinance setting the tax at whatever you want to set it at. What you want to set it at being in agreement. If you want it to be 1%, then pass an ordinance saying it's 1%. But don't have an ordinance say that it's 3% and only collect 1.
or discriminate?
That's
no
what.
one's memory can tell why it's only 1%, and there's nobody here on the council that would know why only 1% was collected. But the book says it's supposed to be 3%. The ordinance book says 3%, but the history is that only 1% has been collected. So you have the opportunity at every meeting to have a. I think you need to do it by an ordinance. You just can't vote tonight to say from now on we're going to start collecting 3%. I think you're opening yourself up to problems if you don't do it the way you would set any tax rate and just reset it for what you think it should be. 1%, 2%, 3%.
But right now, we're supposed to be collecting 3%, and we're not, according to the ordinance.
That ordinance needs
But
to
you
be revisited.
you've never collected 3%, as far as we know. You've never collected 3%. You've only always collected 1%.
I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I mean, I know we've only been collecting 1%, but the ordinance says we're supposed to be collecting 3%.
Unless you have a reading of the ordinance, a first reading, and a second reading, I think you're going to have problems of notice. But you haven't. The very fact that you've not collected what you're supposed to have collected could have been a waiver that you could be interpreted as that you waived the right to collect the higher tax for whatever reason.
Okay.
And that's why if you're going to collect it higher, so that you don't have the challenges to it, you need to go ahead through an ordinance setting it the way you would set it originally.
Okay.
Because it could be interpreted as that you, under several different theories, that you just waived the right to collect it.
Okay.
You certainly couldn't go back and collect it in the past.
No, that's not,
But
That's
I
not
think
what
you're
I'm
gonna have
saying.
that same criticism for future unless you have a vote on it and set it at the rate you want to set it at, to correct it, to admit it, however you want to call it. Correct it, reset it, amend it.
The difference in the income or revenue for that was, we collect 1%, a little over $2,000. So at 3%.
It'd be $6,000.
$6,000. So we're $4,000 a month, which would be, I think, would be a legitimate revenue.
So you need a motion about.
Redoing the
Just to redo it.
ordinance, redoing the ordinance.
That ordinance is the one that you're operating on now is what number? Well, you need a number and you just need to set a.
Ordinance number, there's 3 ordinances, it says 3%. That's ordinance number 198, approved July the 12th, 1986. And then ordinance number 246, approved November the 14th, 1991. And, well, that's 2 of the 3. The first ordinance was, even before 1986. But anyway, the last ordinance is number 246, dated November the 14th, 1991.
So you see, it's like over 20 years ago. It'd be hard to.
Well, we need to fix that.
You
I
need
mean,
to fix it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it's the point we need to
Yeah.
fix that.
And have a clarification that we do not intend to back up 20 years.
No.
You know, it'll be, the amount changes, that it'll be from the time the new ordinance is put in of 2012, here and now. Not go back 20 years.
So I
I
want to
didn't
bring
know
it to your
that.
attention, and if y'all think it's feasible, we can come up with another ordinance. Really just, about the only change to be required is just changing the percentage, if that's what you desire, you know. But I don't want to go through the process of, that's a big ordinance. And so just for that, but we could amend it, couldn't we, Mr. Boggs? Just
Amend the
it.
ornament.
If
But you
you're,
need to go through the procedure.
Ordinance, not
because it is a
ornament,
tax.
ornament, isn't it?
See, it is a tax. You need to go
We
through the
need
procedure.
the whiskey drinkers, I know what.
Change the
We
tax.
Okay.
so we'll,
You need to take into consideration too, that times are tough right now. There's a lot of places around here where the mines are laying off and the economy's bad. It's not always wise to start raising taxes on people of any kind if you can help it. According to what we've got in our general funding, we've got money. Every time I see it in the paper, it says we have money in the bank.
I just think that we should be fair
To the hamburger
to
eaters, the same
right.
as the
If
whiskey
it's,
drinkers.
I do. If we're charging the restaurants 3%, you know, unless somebody could explain to me the difference, why should we be charging them 3% and the hotels 3% and then liquor 1%?
well, all the income from this is contributed, it goes towards the police department.
That's what I thought. I thought the police department had to show that they made so many.
You don't have to show, it's just KRS, it has to go to the police department.
Yeah, I know that, but you've got to show that percent of that money is needed by the police department
Well, you can do
for
that by your monthly
rest and
rest.
stuff
You can
like
do
that.
that
That's
by
what I
your
want to know. But we hadn't been able to do that, that's the way I understand it, at one time.
Well, that quarterly production report shows how much money is operating in the police department, how much has been allocated, how much has been spent. Now, and the police department had $27,000.
But we don't see how many arrests, and you have to have so many arrests that's allocated to alcohol, I thought.
There's all certain quotas I know of. The only thing it's gotta show is you enforcement, it within your city limits on alcohol related things, and you do that with your arrest law. But the KRS you cannot spend that money for nothing else.
I knew that now.
Police department only.
Had to be in police department.
That's correct.
And see, we have 6 police officers, no, we have 8 police officers authorized. We are funding 6. That's why we're within our budget. But now, if we had the other money coming in from that, we could actually get our 8 police officers that's authorized.
But we're not taking that money that grant that we had, are we? For that 7th police officer, we're not taking any money from them
No, that's
now.
another thing. See, we just about lost that for not administrative, not following through with the administrations required in the police department. One of the police officers washed out of school and came back here, and he was not a legitimate police officer once he left out the academy. And but they put him to work, and they charged a clip money for him, and now we're going to have to refund some of that money too. So, but that's a different story. But we're back on the alcoholic beverage tax. We can introduce it.
I personally would like to introduce it because I'm like Norma was talking about. If we're charging, I mean, I know the money, it has nothing to do with where the money directs to. I'm talking about fairness.
Absolutely.
And what's in the best interest of the city, and
Shouldn't
that's not
cost you
been
more
fair,
to
in
eat
my
a hamburger.
opinion.
Well, I don't
No.
think we ought to do it tonight, though. It's
No,
already.
but I mean,
No.
no, I'm just saying, I'd like to see something be done about that.
Well, all
We need to
have
see
do
it
just
first.
be-
Need to see
yeah.
that ordinance
That's
first.
not, well, that's not
review
what
it.
I was
Let
saying.
everybody get a copy of it and look at
I'm all
it.
for reviewing it again, but not tonight.
Okay. Well, I've got the ordinance here, but we'll get you copies and.
Every time I drink a cup of coffee at Harry's, I pay 3%.
Right.
Every time you drink a Coke up there, you pay 3%.
That's it. And we could definitely use the money to improve our police department, to fund the police department. So, that's all I have. We'll start with council comments. And, Barry?
The only thing that everything else I wanted to discuss has been talked about, but the one thing that I do would like to see happen soon is I personally believe we need to place the privilege license as a council priority or something, because there are businesses, it's my understanding that there's businesses that are operating that's not paying the license because they're not on the list, okay? And I could have misinterpreted that wrong, but I personally don't think it's fair that because we don't have a certain business that's on our current privilege license listed that they're not paying. I also think that it's in the best interest to get that up to date for the city and review the possibility of increasing it, the privilege license. This has been going on since May of last year, and if at all possible, I'd like to see maybe a special call meeting or something that we can start this to work on the privilege license. This is something that I feel like should be a priority for the city, because it's not only revenue, but again, personally, I would be really upset if I owned a business and I knew somebody that was operating the business and I was paying a privilege license and they weren't. I would be upset, and I think it's not fair. So, but anyway, if the council would, I'm asking that the council as a whole that we get together and try to do something about this. That's all I have to say.
Something, we need to get it on the table.
No,
Okay. Boyer?
I've had a lot of people asking about a lot of these old shoddy buildings in Cumberland, and do we as a council, or like Mr. Damiola's house over there below the radio station, and somebody said there was 10 of them. Now, I didn't go out and count them, but we might think about it. Have we got 10 scuzzy, falling apart buildings that people drive by every day And what do we to do, what do we plan to do, or do we plan to do anything, or just make them part of the city?
Well, like I
Like
said,
Mr. Damiola's now, the one that I've had mentioned
yeah, there's
over there across from Fred.
There's several places that's been pinpointed and targeted, and, but look, we've got the code enforcement board, and we've got a code enforcement, and each police officer is a code enforcement officer. They can issue citations to those blighted properties and things, and they are appointed, and they are official, enforcement board officials.
Well, Mr. Damiola's been dead for
But we just
years.
gave the enforcement, the board itself, the authority
Yeah.
to do the.
For somebody to do something.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's what we need to get them to shaking their tail and get it done. Because now the people that were complaining said there was 10 of them. I haven't been out and counted them.
I believe that.
Yeah.
All around, maybe even more.
But that's my only comment.
David?
I just have a few questions on some of the things that we collect for our revenue. One of the things we passed last year was the bank franchise tax. How many times a year do we collect that?
One time.
One
At
time?
the end of the year.
Okay. So we collected it for 2011 already?
Yes.
Yep.
We
Okay.
collect that in December or June.
It's in
think
December,
it's-
it's calendar year.
I didn't know if it fell on our budget.
No, it came in January.
One of them was like December, and then the other one was,
It's about $18,000 of new revenue.
Also, where do we stand on our property tax? I know Marvin J. brought us a check in November, but have we collected any more money since then?
each month.
Each month. And he's got, we've collected 85% as of that last week.
As of yesterday.
As of yesterday.
I think he does a good job collecting those.
What's the status with collecting back property tax? Have we moved any further on that?
That's gonna be a hairy issue, and we'd have to go to, have attorneys take care of that. Now, last year's property taxes, delinquent taxes will be collected easy, but any taxes passed beyond 2010, I'd say it's a loose
We've put into place that future, now stay with me, future delinquent taxes will be collected through through the clerk's office in the county. Any future delinquent taxes. But as of what's passed, they cannot collect what's passed, but they can collect if their taxes, for instance, they said there's 85% being collected this year. If, for instance, this time next year, it's still just 85%, that there's 15% that wasn't collected, those 15% delinquencies would be collected through the clerk's office. And you've entered into an agreement with the clerk's office to do that at the same time you entered into the agreement with the sheriff to collect the current taxes. So you've put into place a mechanism that will help you with that in the future. The procedure for collecting these other past taxes are to file a lawsuit for collection of the taxes and that there be a sale and things of that sort. So you probably read, Harlan has been looking at the same thing and about their past taxes, but it is, you're going to spend several $100s for each delinquent account, just in the fees and expenses to collect those.
Can we not put those up for sale? I know some cities are doing that.
Well, you can in the future, and that will be that you are a city that's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You will do it next year, but you didn't have it in.
Didn't have it in place
Didn't have it
then.
in place for this year, but you do have. You will be one of those cities doing it next year.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay. Miss Ellie?
Me?
Yes.
I had a call from one of the residents complaining about a water bill. They said that they got their water bill a week late. It was read extra week on it. And she had already been down here and paid $50-some, which was her standard fee, what she pays every month. That's what it is, because that's the time she should have got it. She got it a week late. She had $10 more to pay, and she was told if she didn't come in here and pay it, it was going to be cut off. This woman has a limited income. She averages her payments out. The water bill was held out a week late. That's not good for the citizens, so what's going on? I told her I'd ask. I know I've been getting mine late.
We've had quite a few water problems with our tanks and things of that nature, and we're overlapping our new readings with the old bills, and it's difficult. We don't get who's late out of the computer, which is the way it should be. We're getting who's late based on a physical review of an $1,100 charge, which it's just not a good system, and they do make mistakes. But sometimes, if the weather permits or something should happen, say something major breaks, keeps the meter readers from reading the meters on the 15th. If they get delayed reading those meters, say they don't read the meters until the 20th, that means that month is going to have more than 30 days in it when they do read it, and that bill will be higher than.
That's right.
Then the next bill will be 25 days.
That's what I'm saying. That's hurting the people.
But sometimes we like
But she was told on the telephone after she'd already paid it. She was told she owed $10, and if she didn't come in and pay that $10, it was going to be cut off, and she had received her bill late.
They're pretty liberal here.
So, I'm telling you what she said, and I believe the woman. I'm sorry. So I'm relaying it to you, and I don't understand why it's happening.
But
I know I've had to call down here and say, "Where's my water bill?"
well, that's
And
one of
I'm
those
sure
cases.
anybody else around here can say the same thing.
Yeah, that's one of those cases where something broke down. Like, see, we've had the service pump at the water plant is actually had to be taken out. We have to take all of our employees and put them on fixing, repairing those things. But it's not a permanent type thing, situation. It's just occasional, and it's going to happen occasionally. And then there are human errors that take place too. But
Well, another thing was, I want to know why we're not having second reading of the utility bills, the ordinance 430 that was supposed to have last time, said to hold off till this time.
which one is that?
KU.
No, it's the one about the water, it's the one that tells when the water readings will be sent out and the bills will be sent out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We haven't had a second reading on that.
How dark it is.
But
Is there a number on it?
430 is what I got written down.
We have,
I've got my folder here.
they're all in the ordinance book.
We had the second reading of 430 on December the 8th.
I have done, we was holding it. Let me see.
It was adopted 6th.
We'd struck it off.
It was not changing the date of the water bill. Is that the one you're talking
That's
about?
right, yeah.
The date stayed the same.
Here we go.
Yeah, what it was is 20th was supposed to be, it was stated, it was the 15th, they'd changed the date and we decided on,
I think they were wanting to start collecting on the 5th or something like that.
Yeah, and we had changed
We decided
that.
to leave it at the 20th. Is that not right?
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, and you had that in that last packet to have it read, and I was wondering,
We didn't change it. The date of the second reading was December the 8th, 2011. And it had, what was the vote? 6 to,
I think Catino or Catino was the one that.
we went and saw it changed.
but there was no change.
We had changed the dates on it.
Minutes for Thursday, December 8th.
Actually, I don't have none
Next
with
was the
me.
second reading of ordinance number 430, water bill due date. Charles Rawls made a motion to approve the ordinance with the due date remaining on the 20th of each month. Carla Barrett second. Roll call. Barrett, yes. Elliott, yes. Boyer, yes. Haynes, yes. Raleigh, yes. Dixon, yes. All in favor, motion carried.
So the date has been changed? That was my question.
No.
I mean-
But we've had the second reading.
It originally was wanting to be changed.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. I want to know if that was okay, and has that been ran in the paper yet?
Well, it wasn't changed.
No, but has it been ran in the paper?
No.
Fee schedule was
We wouldn't-
changed. We changed the 10% penalty.
Yeah, so it would have to be run in the paper. There
Yeah,
was
because
change.
we changed something now, because I've got it written down. I
And a $50
failed to bring it with me.
fee after 10 days.
We just put it on the back shelf, back burner for a while, didn't we?
Yeah, but we read it, we had the second reading, but there was something you were,
Carl had said he was going to hold that off till the next time. I didn't bring my notes with me.
I've got my notes, but
I just
they're
brought the
long.
ones I just got second reading.
Yeah, that
down.
was also changes from the 5th to the 20th.
This 10%, but no, we haven't. I mean, the old, they just ignored it.
10 days.
There was a 10%. You make a copy of it, Mr. Fox.
So it is changed on the ordinance that's in there, the date, from the
No, not the
5th to
date,
the
not
20th?
Not today.
No, the percentage.
Yeah, the date is changed.
Yeah.
From the 5th to the
20th.
20th.
Yeah, 5th to 20th.
Yeah.
The only difference was the 10%.
And the 10%.
Yeah.
And the reconnect that I can recall.
It is reconnect $50.
Make a copy for Mr. Fox so he gives the summarized version, okay?
I think
Yeah.
it's in the paper.
Has it?
Yeah, or we wouldn't have it in here.
Okay.
I just didn't,
I didn't remember it being run in the
Probably
paper.
found the receipt.
I've not been home to read
Yeah,
it.
because we got
So, I
calls
don't
on
know.
it, talking about sure where people have read it.
So you did put it in the paper? That's what I was wanting to know, make
We
sure,
got a
because
few calls on it.
I've had people like calling me and asking me stuff about that, and I said, well, honey, I'll
That's
ask
when
them
it
about
was in
it.
the paper, everybody started calling.
Oh, okay.
I had several of them in the paper at one time.
And everything is I want to know how we're doing on water disconnects and how we're keeping a record of that on the backlog of the water that's been disconnected and
We've got what we call an inactive file. Everybody disconnected is placed on an inactive file, and we monitor them at least one day a week. We go back and check each one of those people that's been on, because we consider them to be a permanent disconnection, unless they get back on, you know. And if they come in and pay their bill, we put them back on. But we
how
have-
many new ones do you get a month?
Well, it runs about 35, but it's not always permanent. It's not always inactive. It's 35 delinquent accounts, and we might have to turn off the water to get them to come in to pay the bill. But they'll come in to pay the bill, we turn the water back on. That's, you know, but we are trying to be liberal on turning them off. We take into consideration when we read the meters and when.
Well, now this lady was real upset when she called me. I mean, that's the reason and I promised her I would bring it up because now that's kind of ridiculous.
It's confusing too, even.
But she said that's what she is told is you'll pay that or you get your water cut off.
That 430 was summarized, it was in the paper.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was.
I just want to make sure because that's one thing.
Put it
The
in the
reason,
book
the
so it's
reason it was
published.
put in the paper was not because of the date change, but was because of the delinquency and the $50 fine to restore if it's been a disconnect, the disconnect fee.
Oh, another thing, two more things, short things, and I'll be through. When we get agenda, could you please, instead of having second reading of ordinance, I'd like to know what ordinance before I come. I mean, ordinance such and such pertaining to such and such, because sometimes they're not attached. And whenever you go back to look at your agenda, it's hard on you to try to find the one that goes with that one. But I'd appreciate if you'd have like reading of ordinance, for instance, 432 concerning such and such, instead of just reading of ordinance.
But normally we attach the ordinances to that.
Well, I mean, you need to say which one for a quick record.
Rather than attach them to that, just tell you which one.
Well, a lot of times we already have had them. You might have gave them to us for another meeting. We didn't cover them. And then it says that, and then we don't know which one to look at before we come.
Okay, all right.
Small complaint, but a big thing. Another thing